In today's gospel, we see the intersection of the two virtues of justice and mercy. The parable shows a man who is not offering to others the mercy that has been given to him. He has been forgiven a huge debt, but he will not forgive the debt of another person who owes much less to him. Matthew's Gospel answers two questions today. How often must we forgive someone who seeks forgiveness from us? And what will happen if we don't forgive each other? Jesus' answer couldn't be any clearer. We must forgive not 7 times, but 77 times. And in his culture, in his times, that was a metaphor for forgiving without end. Every time a person asks for forgiveness sincerely, we are required to give it from our hearts. And if we don't forgive each other when we have been forgiven so much by our God, then maybe we will lose God's forgiveness. As Christians, we are to see the connection between the way God treats us and the way that we treat each other. This parable has some problems, though. First of all, it compares the kingdom of heaven to a king who has a lot of slaves who owe him money. God is imagined as some sort of a slave owner, and the humans are indebted servants. That reflects the social reality of the time when Matthew lived, but it's a difficult image for us today. But if we read this gospel carefully, we do see some good points in it. It teaches us the importance of mercy. It teaches us to ask for mercy when we need it, and it teaches us to grant mercy to those in need. In last week's gospel, Jesus taught that forgiveness was to be the main characteristic of the community of the believers of Jesus. Sisters and brothers who meet a sinful member of their community must do whatever they can to reach out to him in forgiveness and to welcome him back into the community. Peter seems to have learned that lesson well, but in today's gospel it shows he certainly didn't realize the implications of what he learned. He didn't realize that he would have to forgive brothers and sisters continually and so be a sign of forgiveness for the whole world. We are to be so merciful, Jesus tells us, that other people will say, "Wow, look at those Christians. That's the way they love. That's the way they forgive." And so forgiveness will then become a sign of love and of God's presence and healing in the world, and will be the sign that marks us as the followers of Jesus. Such forgiveness can only happen because God has forgiven us so much and is now with us to empower us to forgive others the same way. The principles for forgiving others, Jesus applies toward forgiving other people. But we can also apply those same principles to acting with mercy toward creation. Pope Francis repeats again and again his theme that God and humanity and all of creation are interconnected. They're interdependent. The world and the people in the world are all part of the creation that God has made. And just as we must love and respect and forgive our brothers and sisters, so we must show respect and mercy to creation. To help us do that, Pope Francis has led us into this season of creation that we're celebrating now up until October the 4th. It's what he calls a time of jubilee. In the Old Testament, the Jewish people every 50 years had to forgive all the debts that were owed to them, and they didn't plant any crops that year to let the land recover. And the season of creation that we have now is a time to renew and to repair and to restore our broken relationship with God and with all of creation. It's a sacred time to remember and to rest and to restore and to rejoice. We have broken the bonds of our relationship with the Creator, with our fellow human beings, and with all of creation. And now, we see the results of our constant demand for more and more growth and for an endless cycle of production and consuming everything. When we do that, we're exhausting the natural resources of our world. The forests are being cut down, the topsoil is being eroded, our farms are failing, the deserts are spreading, the seas are becoming acidic, the storms are intensifying. Creation is groaning in pain. And so we know, we can see that it's time to heal the damaged relationships that are essential to support us and to continue this web of life that we're part of. Right now, one positive thing with the coronavirus epidemic is that it has forced us to do things in different ways and gives us a chance to experiment with new ways of living, ways that can be simpler and can be more sustainable as a lifestyle. We've seen there's been a reduction in air pollution as factories have slowed down, as fewer people drive cars and use mass transit, more and more people are walking and using bicycles. And so there have been positive results. We see that there can be other ways. And so now, this season of creation, it's a time for us, first of all, to appreciate the wonder of creation and to appreciate our place in creation. It's a time to thank God for this wonderful gift. It's a time to recognize the damage that we have caused as individuals and as society, and the damage that we're continuing to cause. We see the results in so many disasters, like the wildfires that are affecting the western coast of the United States now, and the huge swarms of locusts that are affecting Eastern Africa. We have to now commit ourselves to show mercy to the air and the land and the water. And if we can do that, if we can show mercy in this way, then we truly are thanking God for this wonderful gift of creation that God has blessed us with.